Okay, let's keep going with problems involving exponents in the units. Part A, 200 square kilonewton square. So I'm going to put it exactly like that. 200 square kilonewton square. That would be basically 10 to the third kilo square newton square. I just took outside the parentheses all of them. What is this? 200 square, 10 to the 6. So this is 40,000 times 10 to the 6 newton square. And you can convert this in the calculator in any way that you want to, but I'm kind of lazy today. Well, you can say 4 here, and this is 10 to the 4, 10 to the 6, 10 to the 10th. This is 10 to the 4th, right? And this is 4. Newton square. And now if I'm going to express this in a unit that is a square, I have to convert this number also uh, I have to convert the prefix in something that resembles that. So that means that if I'm using kilo, for example, kilo square should be 10 to the third square 10 to the sixth. If I using mega, mega will be 10 to the sixth, but it has to be a square. So the best way that I can use this in this number is just convert this into 10 to the 12, which is mega square. That will be associated with this unit. And basically I have to say that this here will be 4 times 10 to the negative 2 meganewton square. But because it's asking me to express it with three significant figures, I have to say either 4.00 times 10 to the negative 2 or 0.04 meganewton square. This is kind of confusing because of the exponents and because of the prefixes are also elevated to the power. For the part B, millimeters square, once again, this is inside of the parentheses, millimeters. So then I say 0.005 square, and I can say here millimeters square, and that's it. But the problem is, I don't want to express this in millimeters. I want to express this in a power of something that resembles better the answer. If I express this as square, it's going to be a very, very small number. So I'm going to put this here also millimeters, which is this, right? 10 to the negative 3, that's millimeters. I'm going to square it, and then this is going to be the meter square. Millimeter, once again, millimeter is 10 to the negative 3 meter. So if I square this, then I have to square this. You see, 10 to the negative 3 square, meter square. That's what I did there. Now you multiply all of these numbers together and see what we got. 0.005 squared times 10 to the negative 6, and then you get this really, 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 really small number here, 2.5 times 10 to the negative 11 meters squared. Now because I'm working with squares, the units or the prefixes that I'm going to divide has to be also square. What I'm trying to tell you is this. If I would like to convert this into, I don't know, a millimeter square again, instead of dividing by 10 to the negative 3, then I have to divide by 10 to the negative 6. And if I want to convert into micro, instead of 10 to the negative 6, that will be 10 to the negative 12, which is the conversion. If this is what I'm telling you guys. Look, I know this is weird, and it's not an easier way to explain this when they have exponents. But let's say that I want to convert millimeter or meter square, because this is meter square now, into millimeter square. 1 meter square, 1 meter is 1,000 millimeters. So 1 meter square, which is what I'm trying to convert into millimeter square, that's 10 to the third square, 10 to the 6 millimeters square. It will be equivalent. If I want to convert 1 meter into micrometer, let's say, micrometer, if I square these now, 1 meter square will be also equivalent to, this is 10 to the 6 square, so 10 to the 12 micrometer square. Now, once you have these, you can do the conversion here. You see, I can use this conversion. That would be 6, but if I put here 6, it's going to be still a big number here, or a small number. Now, if I put 12 here, and I put 12 here, then I have to say 2.5 times 10 to the negative 11 times 10 to the 12 meter square, micrometer square. And 2.5 times, this is basically 2.5, this and this, 25 micrometer square. Now, three significant figures. These are not three significant figures here, so probably you have to say 25.0 micrometer square to make it three significant figures right there. And the part C now is cubic. Now it's cubic. Let's see what is the prefix that better fits there. Now, let's work with that part. Let's say one meter, because this is gonna be a big number. So let's say that I wanna go in the scale up 1 meter in kilometers. So if I say 1 kilometer is 1,000 meters, 1 kilometer cube is gonna be 1,000 meter cube. So 1 kilometer to the third will be 10 to the, this is 10 to the third to the third, 10 to the 9 meter cube. This is if I want to express my answer in my final answer in kilometers squared, which I still don't know if that's going to be the final answer. So let's try to work the number. So if I work the number, that will be 400 cubic meter cubic, and that will be 400 to the third, 400 to the third. You see, it's a big number, so it's 3, 6, 64, 64 times 10 to the 6 meter cube. That's not a good way of expressing that number. It's a very big number. So basically I can take it to this one, 10 to the 9, to convert the meter cube into kilometer cube. So then I divide this number by 10 to the 9, because I know that 10 to the 9 meter cube is 1 kilometer cube. This is what it says here. This and this cancel out, and this passes to the top. So basically it's going to be 64 times 10 to the negative 3 kilometer. Oops, yeah, I lost track of the paper. How dare I to do that to you? Never again. Kilometer cube. But this is not still three significant figure, so then I guess that I can say 0.064 kilometers to the third. And that would be three significant figures. Or I could say, no, this is the best. I can try to twist it and twist it and twist it, but this is the easiest way to do that. Okay, see you in the next problem.